Alright guys, welcome to the Doombringer set review. We're doing the Prismatic. Prismatic is the largest section of this set because this is a multicolored set. So brace yourselves. Before I start though, you should know that I do my set reviews on the constructed format. Basically the CCS, the Hex Bash, or the Arcanium Vault. This is not based on Immortal, and it's not based on Limited. I will not be going over the fusion cards. The fusion cards, you can take two fusion cards, combine them, and they make a Termini or Terminus. And those cards, there's like over 100 combinations of them. I'm not going to go over all of them. There's probably like three of them that are actually playable, maybe 5. I don't know. Regardless, that's way too many cards to go over for something that's for only a few that might be playable. So instead, we're just going to go over the cards good and standard. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. First card is Assimilate. This card is a 4-cost quick action. It says put target troop into your deck, and it gains thresholds. It gains thresholds. It gets to deploy, create a copy of this, and put it into your deck. Oh, there are no fusion cards in Prismatic, Ian says. Hallelujah. Which means it's even longer. Alright, Assimilate is a playable card. It is one of the few ways to deal with the White Ruinier. I should know his name. The White Ruinier. It is called Brilliant Annihilix. It's one of the few ways to deal with Brilliant Annihilix, especially if they socket the Brilliant Annihilix with the Sapphire Gem that makes it untargetable by spells that cost 2 or less. Assimilate. You can't play too many of these in your control deck. You play like 1, maybe 2. However, you will play 3 or 4 of these in your constructed deck if you are playing that champion that produces thresholds. The one that gives you a ruby, sapphire, diamond, blood, or wild threshold. If you have all 5, you gain 5 life. The reason that deck will want 4 of these is because it's also going to play the heart, the resource that when it comes to play, you draw 2 cards. That is the only deck that is going to want like 4 of these. Otherwise, it's a fine card as a 1 over 2 of. The other ability where it says deploy, create a copy of this and put into your deck is okay. It's not super relevant. It will come up if you like steal a Seeker or something powerful, but otherwise it's not like anything insane. No one's going to use that champion. They have to, man. That heart's sweet. Alright, this card's playable. Big Buddy. 5 cost, 4/5. Deploy, put target troop from your crypt on top of your deck. It gets +1/+1 and a random boon. This is limited only. Black Ash Blighter. 5 cost, 6/4, Crush. At the start of your turn, revert this and it gets rebirth. This is also limited only. I would not expect to see this in constructed play. I just don't think it's good enough. The fact that it dies to Strangle with rebirth or without rebirth is very bad. You don't want this in constructed. Blightbark Courier. 3 cost, 2/2, Flight Rebirth. These cards are a little harder to evaluate because we do have gems that trigger off Prismatic. I personally do not believe this one is good enough. I think we can find hopefully a different one for Blood Diamond. So I'm gonna say no to this card. Boon Bunch. 2 cost, 2/2. This gets a random boon. Sweet limited. Constructed, no. Leprechaun Artist is better than this card and will get much bigger than this card. Briny Pod. 2 cost, 2/3. If you discard a card this turn, pay 2 to draw a card. Maybe. I mean, the fact that it's a 2/3 is huge. 2 mana 2/3s. Also, it has this 2 colors, so it triggers the minor gems. I'm not a huge fan of this, but the fact that like on turn 3, I guess you can discard your root shard, then pay 2 to draw a card. It's kind of slow, but I wish this was 1. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's that great, but I think it can definitely see play because again it triggers the prismatic minor gems. It's good against like grindy matchups where someone's trying to make you discard cards. It's also playable in like Blue Sparrow. It's super grindy. I think it's okay. Man. I want to say it's not playable. I really want to say it's not playable in Constructed. I don't know. I personally don't think it is because it's too grindy, but maybe as a reserves card. Briny Ray, 2 cost, 2/1, flight speed. When this attacks, discard a card, then draw a card. Okay, this card is very good. Why? Because it has no activation cost. Well, first of all, it has flight and speed. That's huge. That's great. That's a creature that does damage and races you. And this ability has no cost. You don't have to pay any cost for this. Zelch Ow. Thank you for subscribing to Twitch Prime, man. I appreciate it. Welcome to the pack, and thanks for being here. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. You're the first subscriber today. Thank you. Briny Pod, I think, is very playable. Good in Reanimator, and good with the other Sapphire Ruby cards that like you can discard them, pay alternate costs, and play them. This card is great. It's good in that deck. It's just a good card in general to filter. Buffalo Wings. Buffalo Wild Wings. Card troop is +2/+3 in flight. Limited only. Caravan Cannoncer. 2 cost, 2/2. This gets +2/+2 in flight this turn. This is Rowdy, sorry. 2 cost, 2/2, Rowdy. So you play a troop that costs more than this. It gets +2/+2 in flight this turn. So basically you play this on turn 2, turn 3, take 4 damage. And if you keep being Rowdy, you can keep dealing them damage. I say no. I do not believe this card is good enough for constructed. I'm sure it's a great limited, but as far as constructed, I say not good enough. Chasing the Rainbow, 2 cost constant, Rowdy 01. Rowdy. So you play a card that costs more than this, you gain a permanent threshold that costs. You gain a permanent 01 resource. You can pay 10. Summon a Gold Elemental. A Gold Elemental is a wild diamond troop that is a 10/10. Aquarius, South Carolina. Welcome to Pac-Man. Oh. I do not think this card is good enough for constructed. I do think it's better than the Eye of Winter and cards like it. But if this is played, it's going to be like a 1 of, maybe a 2 of, and it's mostly going to be for the ability to summon a Gold Elemental. I personally don't believe this card is good enough. I think the Wild Diamond decks have plenty of ways to play extra resources, be it via Lady Avalanche or be it via Pipipal or Pomegranate or Verdant Rift, that you really don't really need this ability. Chug. Speaking of chug, let me get some water. Chug, 5 cost troop. Has speed. Barrel. Barrel is when it attacks, it must be blocked by 2 more troops. If it can't be blocked by 2 more troops, then it's unblockable. When a troop you control attacks, this gets +1/+1 in all zones. So when this is in your deck, you're attacking, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. I do not think this is playable. Reason being is because for 5, you can do better things that we will see later in these colors. There's something called some dozer that when it comes into play, it's going to reanimate stuff. I don't think Chug is good enough. One is Try Threshold. I understand the set is you can play Tri-Shard cards. I do not believe Chug is worth it. Like, his evasion is Feral, which is not good. I don't think is good enough. The dozer needs attack. That's still fine. I don't think Chug is good enough. Like, I think you have to like work too hard for it. You have to like play multiple troops, attack multiple times, and realistically, how many can you play? 1, 2 in your deck? My vote for this is no. I don't think this card is nearly good enough to see play. If it had Crush, then yes. If it had some other way to... But Feral I don't think is good enough. And it has no protection. Like, Hero Fall kills it. Assimilate kills it. There's plenty of ways, and Hawkward Turn kills this. Into the Unknown kills this. Runebind stops this. Like, stops all your work. This card is, in my opinion, not good enough for constructed play. Alright, Clutch of Deandra. 6-cost action. Choose one, draw 4 cards, or each opposing champion discards 4 cards. 6 cost. So drawing 4 cards is worth usually 5 resources, I'd say. At basic speed is probably worth 5 resources. Yeah, 5 resources. But you're paying 6 for the option to basically make your opponent discard their hand. Interesting. I think this card's fine. If the metagame becomes grindy, it's like a fine one of. You're not playing a ton of these cards. You're playing 1, maybe 2 to bring in out of reserves against like blood decks or decks trying to grind you out. But as far as playing like 4 of these in your deck, no, you're not playing 4. You're maybe playing 1. Maybe. It's a fine card. It's really slow, but the options are nice. Conjured Candleghast. 5 cost 4/4. When you discard it, you can pay 2 if you do place for free. This card is playable. If you basically just being able to, let's say you're playing a Blue Sparrow loot type deck where you can just draw a card, discard, pay 2, and get a 4/4. So you basically just drew a card and paid 2 mana or 2 resources for 4/4. That's pretty good. You're gonna want or if your opponent like goes to Demented Whispers you, or Primordial Cockatrices you can just do this and put into play and punish your opponent for making discard cards. This card is good. I do believe it's playable. It honestly depends on how good the Ruby Sapphire discard strategy is, because you're gonna want more ways to discard than just Blue Sparrow. Obviously, a Theorize is also good. Like turn 4 Theorize, draw 2, discard 1, and then pay for this. So you pay 4 mana for a 4/4 and 2 cards. That's also pretty good. That's good value. I think this card is definitely playable. All right, Count Dragomir. 4/4, Life Drain, Flight, Rebirth. Okay, so when it dies, it comes back to life. When another card enters your hand or play from your crypt, destroy target opposing card. So it destroys any card. When another card enters play from your hand or play from your crypt. So basically like some sort of regrowth effect, like let's say a Tomb Swap or a Ghastly Exchange, or a way to bounce your own troop to your hand, like from your graveyard. Or if you reanimate, like if you like cast Mordrum's Gift and you reanimate a card, or another card with Rebirth, like if you have a card with Rebirth, when it dies and comes back, it'll trigger this guy's effect. This guy does not trigger himself. He says when another card enters your hand or play, so not himself. I understand you can like play this and play like a 1-cost card to like Tomb Swap or what have you, or Ghastly Exchange. That costs 0. Like the best one is actually Ghastly Exchange, because you just play this and then you Ghastly Exchange a troop for a troop and kill something at instant speed, and it costs no mana. That being said, though, I don't think this card's good enough. The threshold combination is already weird, and if this is your payoff to play this combination of thresholds, I do not believe it's good enough. Even like if you're playing a Reanimator Shell, I don't think it's good enough either. It's the only way it's gonna be good is if you have like you have to work so hard. Like you have to play like a giant centipede. You have to play like a Rebirth troop. Then you have to play Count Dragomir. Then each your troops with Rebirth and maybe Ghastly Exchange or whatever to kill a card. Like this is too much work, guys. Just pay 2 more mana, play Eternal Seeker, and that's it. Or honestly, just play Dark Heart Milzan. Like don't play this guy. I would not recommend buying this guy. I'm not sure how much he is, but I don't think he's good. His ability is way too hard to do, and I just think Dark Heart Milzan is a better card, and so is Eternal Seeker. And they do similar things, and you don't have to jump through like hoops of fire to activate them. So my vote for this card is no. If it does see play, it's going to be some stupid sacrifice your spirits immortal deck that combos off and does something crazy. Another way, sorry, I should say one thing. Another way this could work is if you let's see, if you get Deathseeker. If you get Deathseeker, I guess, and you're able to massacre your own Deathseeker, or reduce Deathseeker's toughness to 0, and then have it scrounge 4 troops from your graveyard, so that when it dies, it goes back to your hand, so that you can just pay 1 mana to basically have it go to the graveyard, then back to your hand and kill something, basically 1 mana Vindicate or 1 mana kill whatever you want. That's powerful, but again, that is so much work. That is so much work. You have to play your Deathseeker, and then give it -1 toughness. That's cool, but gosh, guys, that's so much work. My vote is no for this card. Dazzling Obliteron. 5 cost, 4/3 with flight. Other prismatic troops you control have +1/+1. No, limited only. Deathdozer. This is the card I was comparing to the previous card that cost 5, Chug. I feel like if you're gonna play a 5 cost troop, just play this card, because on turn 5 it's good. Chug isn't always going to turn 5. There'll be times where you play your troops and your opponent just kills all your troops, and Chug's a 1/1 creature that costs 5 with speed. They need triple threshold to cast. At least Deathdozer, those troops that died, you can just bring back. Deathdozer is a 5 cost card. It's a 5/4, has Feral, which again means it can't be blocked unless it's blocked by 2 more troops. It has Rabid, which means the first time it attacks, it puts each Gnoll from your crypt with cost 4 or less into play, attacking under your control. They get in turn sacrifice this. And I originally thought this was only 2 troops. This is actually all troops. This literally is every single troop that costs 4 or less. Every single Gnoll troop, sorry, that costs 4 or less comes back tap attacking. This will kill your opponent. So let's say you played a 2-drop Gnoll, got Strangled. You played a 3-drop Gnoll, got Hero Falled, whatever. If you draw Deathdozer, you can play Deathdozer and threaten lethal or a buttload of damage. Now, if you have Chug might be a 2/2 or a 3/3, and you need triple thresholds to cast to play it. So, I believe Deathdozer is the better Chug if you want to play this type of effect. Dogpile, 4 cost, Ruby Wild. Deal 5 damage to target troop. Summon Rabid Gnolls equal to any access damage. Rabid Gnolls. Rabid Gnolls, I believe, is a 1/1. Let's find out. Yeah, okay, it's just 1/1. Okay, with a threshold cost. Prismatic threshold cost. Okay, so this is basically saying you deal. Let's say if you kill a creature that has 3 toughness, you get 2 1/1s. No, this card is not good. This card is not. It's not good because the red removal spells are better than this. I believe Power Strike is better than this. This is also a basic action. I understand the access damage makes you 1/1s, but I do not believe this card is good enough, or will see play. All right, Doombringer Kha. This is the art on the set. 7 cost, 5/5, flight, speed, steadfast. When Doombringer Kha attacks, choose 1. Void target opposing troop, void target opposing card, so any card. Draw 3 cards, or Doombringer Kha deals 5 damage to each opponent. This card is absolutely worth the threshold requirements. Compare this to Dragomir, or compare this to Chug, and it's laughable. This card is worth playing 3 shards. It does everything. If you have nothing to do, if your opponent has nothing to destroy to void with the ability, you get to draw 3 cards. Usually Eternal Seeker, honestly, let's be honest. Eternal Seeker is usually voiding Journey to Nightmare or Dark Card or a couple of cards, 1 or 2 cards. This card does that. It still voids, but also has the option you can just slam it, attack, and draw 5 cards. Or not 5 cards, 3 cards. Or you can just deal your opponent 10 damage. I think this card is very good. It's a great reanimator target, and it's also just a great finisher in control decks. Doombringer Kha can reshape the way control is played. Because traditionally control decks, like let's say like Sapphire, Ruby control decks, we were kind of forced to play Psychic Ascension. And by playing Psychic Ascension, we're forced to play a lot of actions. The same is true for Sapphire Diamond control. Now you don't necessarily need to. Your top end can be like 2 Doombringer Khas, 2 or 3, whatever you want, maybe 2. And now you can actually play troops. If you want to play troops, you can play troops. You can play like Woolly Moa, the 2 cost 2/1 Fate Weave when it comes to play. Fate Weave when it dies. That card is bad because it's not action when you're playing Psychic Ascension. You can play like Boltwing Phoenix even in your control deck. You can play just maybe you can play Alchemite now because Alchemite is a sweet grindy card, but it doesn't help Psychic Ascension. It doesn't like fuel Psychic Ascension. This card is great. It's powerful, and even better, it's actually castable. So this card will see play. This card is an excellent legendary card. Double Down, 7 cost, Diamond Wild, basic action. Double your health, double the power and toughness of each troop you control. Let's see. This one's weird. I don't think this card is good enough because, like, let's say if you have like 3 or 4 troops and you're doubling all their power and toughness, or even like if you have like just 1 momentum troop, like you have 1 Pathfinder or even a Shamrock or a Jouster, a Jubilant Jouster or a Leprechaun, doubling his power and toughness is like you don't need to do that. Like the card is already huge. Doubling your health is interesting, but not good enough. Ultimately, if you want to double your health, instead of doubling health, just play Sir Draxard. Like if you want a card for the burn matchup, instead of being at 5 and getting 5 health, you're like 5 health may not be enough. Instead, you can play a Sir Draxard. It's a 6/6, and it gains you 25 health no matter what. I understand this card does both things, but it just does them both poorly. And there's better cards that just pick whichever you want. And there's a much better card for that, for your reserves. Dreamsmoke Duplicity. 4 costs. Put target troop into its controller's hand. Create a copy of that troop and put it into your hand. I think this is a pretty cool trick. This card would absolutely be playable if it was any card. The problem though with this is it fights with Pippa Hustler. And the copy it makes you, the threshold is the same. So if you like bounce a Bride of the Damned, it's still blood. The copy you get is a blood. So this card like wants you to play more thresholds. I don't know, like, and if you're playing more thresholds, your 4-drop slot is kind of filled with Assimilate. Assimilate is the better card to play for your 4 because it gives you more thresholds too. I don't think this card is I don't think this card's good. Might be playable, but I don't think it's good. Like Pip Hustler is better, and Assimilate is better if you are this type of deck. You can bring back your own troop and copy it. Even then though, like your 4-drop is filled with like when do you play this? Like you play 4 Pathfinders, you play 4 Pippa Hustlers, so you have 4 Pathfinders, 4 Hustlers, and now you're like those are locked, right? If you're playing Sapphire Wild, those cards are locked, and now you're choosing between Merry Caravan and Dreamsmoke Duplicity. I mean, you can play one of these or 2 of these, but I personally believe that this card is not good enough. That's too many 4s. Like you have 4 Pathfinders and 4 Pippa Hustlers, then 4 like Merry Caravan or 2 of these, if you want. I understand you can buy back your cards. I just don't think it's good enough. Drifting Ruinant. 2 cost, 3/2. When you play a Prismatic card, this gets Flight. Thing is, this like maybe just because it is prismatic, and again, there's gems that trigger when you have prismatic cards in play. Maybe there's some sort of also a 3/2 flyer for two isn't bad. It is bad though if it doesn't fly. This thing has to fly to make it worth it. So I don't think it's think it's good enough actually for constructed. But if we get a few more of these cards, it definitely can be like you probably play like a sky deck where you play a bunch of flying creatures and tempo your opponent out with like Flummox or Runebind or Verdict, Ancient Kings. But as of right now, I don't think it's good enough. Engulf. Quick action. Choose one. Destroy target troop or interrupt target troop. For 4... this is... Oh man. For 4, I don't... For 4... It's like on the verge. Like if this was 3, it'd be good enough. 4 is a bit much. Again, this is the problem where, like, yes, options are very good, options are great, but the ones that cost 3 that do the same thing are much better, like Hero Fall and Weave Into Nothing and etc. etc. Maybe though, like maybe you want one of these in your control deck because you want to be able to like you want to have choices. So I can see it there, I guess. You don't want too many though, but you definitely play it there. Like this card is playable. It is a removal spell, and it does counter a troop, so it's okay. This going to YouTube? Yes, this will be going to my YouTube. Eparch of Souls. Eparch. Regardless, I'm parched. I need to go faster because we're only on E. 6 cost, 5/5. As I return, if the opposing champion has more health than you, swap 5 totals. This card is not good enough. It's very fun. It'll make cool stories, but ultimately it's not good enough. Like compare this to From the Ashes. All right. Excruciate, 4 cost. Draw 2 cards and choose and discard any number of cards. Deal damage to target troop equal to the discard card's cost. I like this card. I like the fact that you can just like it's just 4 mana draw. It's 4 mana, draw 2 cards. And then if you want to, you can discard any number of cards, deal damage to a creature, and kill it. This card's good. If Sapphire Ruby control the thing, I think this will see play in it. It's a draw spell and a removal spell all in one, which is fantastic. It also has the discard theme. So if you're playing like again late game, if you discard the like not late game, you have 6 resources. If you discard the troop that you can pay 2 to play for free, that's great. You just drew 2 cards, played a 4/4, and killed a creature. So this card's sweet. This card's great. Extract Mind. 2 cost. Each opponent champion discards. Okay, just play. If you want this effect, just play Demented Whispers. This card's not good. Falling Fangs. This card's fantastic. 2 cost. 4/2 flight and speed. So it has evasion and just like basically deals 4 damage in the air. And on top of that, if it does connect, if it destroys an artifact or constant, it's also great with the Dozer ability. And later we'll see Zomboys. Also great with Zomboys. This card is really good. It's a nice way to burn your opponent. You can also like sandbag it. Wait for your opponent to play Dark Cardinal Zan and then play an attack, or let's say your opponent plays MC, is playing the Sockets deck. You can destroy the Alternative Zan. You can destroy the MC or Animus. This card is good main deck. This card's good. Fangstorm, 9 cost. Rage 5 and Crush. Rabid. Destroy all opposing troops. What's up, D-Bunny? I'm glad you're alive, buddy. Welcome back. So the first time this attacks, it destroys all opposing troops. It costs 9. It's not good enough. Even to reanimate, you'd rather reanimate Agilius, Gargalith, Doombringer Kha, Eternal Seeker, because those cards you can actually just cast too. You can actually cast like Eternal Seeker. This card you have to like play it, wait, attack. Not good enough for constructed. Fatal Dose. Target troop gets +4, -2. So this can be used as a pump spell or a removal spell. I don't think it's good enough for constructed play. It's fine for limited, but for constructed, I don't think it's not good. I don't believe it's good enough. I think you'd rather revert your troops to rabbit troops if that's what you want to do. Honestly, it also depends on the metagame. Like if there's a lot of Vampire Prince and X or like 2 toughness creatures, then maybe. Maybe, I don't know. I guess if you are playing Tri-Shard, this is easier to cast than Strangle, so maybe that's where you want it. I do think Strangle is better than this card, but if you're playing like Tri-Shard deck, this is a lot easier to cast. So maybe I'm not too excited by it, but I also wouldn't be surprised if someone played it. Flare Fiend, 2 cost, 3/2 speed. When this is dealt damage, it'll 2 damage to you. Absolutely, this card's great. This card is fantastic. It's a 3/2 with speed. Who cares? The drawback doesn't matter. It's just a an aggressive creature that triggers the Prismatic Shards, the Prismatic Gems, and it's just a good troop by itself. This card is playable by itself. It's great in aggressive decks. Flare Sprite, 3 cost, 4/4, crush. When this is dealt damage, it'll 3 damage to you. Maybe in like a surging wildfire deck, you might want this. Because these shards do have good prismatic gems. Like the red gem gives the troop Rage 1, and the wild gems gives the troop +1 attack and lethal. Like so, this triggering the prismatic shard is really good. It's also a decent troop by itself. In Wild, you can absolutely easily why play this because you play it in the aggressive deck. You play it in the Grandfather Elk, the non-ramp deck. You play it in Grandfather Elk, where you play this and like play Surging Wildfire. It also has a double threshold cost again for the new prismatic gems. Flawless Obliteron, 5 cost, 4/4 flight. When this attacks, you may pay X. If you do, summon a random terminus any shard with cost X. I do not like my troops dying to Strangle. I do not think this one's good enough. So hard pass on this one. Fleeting Memories, draw a card. Then each shape discards a card. I don't think so. Like, I don't think so because we have Theorize, Change Course, Scour the Archives, Demented Whispers. This card's competing with too many cards that do something similar to this. I don't believe this card is good enough. Fractured Faith. X. Target opposing troops must attack this turn. Other troops can't attack this turn. I think this card is good, especially if you can play a weird fog deck. I know it's hard because it's in like the opposite colors, but the fact this is basically a 0 cost lullaby. You can just pay 0 and lullaby somebody for 0. Or you can make. I mean, this is a powerful effect. It's very niche, but obviously insane limited. But if you figure out a way to like play this and like recycle it with like Moonsong or something, sure. From the Wreckage, put up to 1 target resource and troop from your crypt into your hand. This seems fine in like some sort of self-bury strategy. Maybe you're playing like Ghastly Exchange. But even then, like maybe you play. Actually, no. This card's good. This card's good limited. I don't think it's gonna. Do not think this card is gonna for constructed. Gallows Ash, 5 cost, 5/5. When a troop leaves your crypt, summon a Blightbark Burster. That's the Blightbark Burster is the 4/2. When it dies, your opponent loses 3 life. No, I don't think it's not good enough. You play like I'd rather play the Deathcry Troop Groundskeeper, or the one that triggers your Death Cries. Ghastly Banquet. As additional cost to play this, sacrifice a troop. Summon zombies equal to the troop's toughness. This card's fine. This card is fine in a Deathcry deck. You can like, if you can like out tempo your opponent where you have like multiple troops on the battlefield, and then go try to kill your Pathfinder or your Rotting Chomp Knight or whatever, you can use this to basically make a swarm of zombies. I think it's playable. I don't think you play too many, like maybe one. I think it's probably more of a reserves card. And if you play it main deck, I really don't think you play too many. You probably play like one or two. Ghostly Caracal. 3 cost, 3/2. When Troop you control dies, it gets +1/+1. So things with rebirth get bigger. Death Seeker gets really bigger. This seems like a Boltwing Phoenix. If you can play all this, gets bigger. Lady Blightbark. I don't know. This card's okay. I think it's better, obviously better than limited. Inconstructed. I think if it's played, it's gonna be some sort of combo deck. Otherwise, I don't think it's quite good enough. 3 mana 3/2. Even with this ability, I don't think it's quite good enough. Guys, I'm sorry. I'm gonna pause real quick. I'm gonna use restroom. I apologize, but I don't want to do it in the middle. But we're only at G's, so I'll be right back. Sorry about that, guys. I'm back. Glimmer Gout. Deploy a random troop in your hand, gets +1/+1 for each different threshold you have. Limited only. Glimmer Goose. 3 cost, 1/3. When you play a prismatic card, this gets +1/+1. Has flight. I believe this is limited only as well. Glissade. 2 cost. Stun target opposing troop. Ready target troop control. Limited. Hawkward Turn. Revert and transform target card into a Hailhawk, which is a 2/2 flyer. Fate Weave. This card's very good. It's great. It's unconditional removal that kills like Dark Heart, during Nightmare, any troop obviously. It's going to kill the Annihilates, the white one. And also, if you really want to, you can transform your own troop into a Hailhawk to maybe counteract a Hero Fall or something. And it Fate Weaves, so you can even play it, like you can play it in the Hailstorm deck. In the Hailstorm deck, you have like Zealous Seance, you have Hailstorm, you're making a bunch of Hawks. So you can literally transform your opponent's any card you want into a 2/2 bird, and you make a 2/2 bird because it Fate Weaves, and then that basically you can trade off whenever. This card is very good. This card is legit. It's really good. Helpful Coin Shark. 4 cost, 4/4, Rowdy. When you play a troop that costs more than it, or a spell that costs more than it, it triggers Rowdy. And has the cost increased by 1. Create a lucky coin and put it into your hand. Discard a coin that gets +2/+2 and spell shield this turn. Oh man. I think this is a good card as like a one of in the Diamond Wild deck. You don't want to play too many of them because you don't really care about the Rowdy ability. You more so care about the discard a coin give it +2/+2 and spell shield. Might be better in the reserves against heavy removal decks, but I could see this being played as like a 1 of or something, maybe a 2 of. But you're not playing it for the Rowdy. The Rowdy is just bonus. You're playing it mostly for this ability where you can give it spell shield. At 4, Coin Strike feels too expensive. Maybe, but I do like it like over Garglyph in the reserves at the very least. Like I know some decks are playing Garglyph. I do like this over Garglyph, but if you're playing like 4 Leprechauns and 4 Shamrocks, I could be wrong, but I do like it as like a 1 of a singleton or a 2 of index. And like at the very least reserves. But it does cost a lot. You are right. It does cost a lot. So if it sees no play, I also wouldn't be surprised. Because you're right. It does compete with. It competes with Pathfinder. It competes with Merry Caravan and all the other jazz. But still, maybe a 1 of. Maybe, or Garglyph is better. If you think Garglyph is better than this card, then this card will see no play. Hired Horn Nomad, 3 cost 3/3 with attacks. Random trooper in your hand gets +1/+1. Limited. Howling Rebel, 2 cost 3/2 Crush. When this deals damage to a champion, gain a temporary threshold for this turn. I think we can do better than this. Like, I like Righteous Outlaw more than this card. I like Righteous Outlaw more, and I like the 3/1 wild guy that gives you a Scorch more than this card. That being so, I don't think this card will see play. The reason being is because again, I like Outlaw more, and let me show you the other card I'm talking about. It's the Wild Troop. This card. I like this card more than that card too. If you're, I think the only way you'd play this if you're playing like mono gnolls and you're trying to like go with the theme. But otherwise, there are better troops in this card. Iconoclasm. 2 cost, constant. Pay 3, discard a card. Create 2 random cards of the same shards as the discarded cards and put them into your hand. So if you discard like a Sapphire card, you get 2 Sapphire cards. If you discard a shard, you get 2 shardless cards. I mean, this is card banned. It is random, but it's card banned. It's also fueled for discard. Again, this is a deck. If this card's a deck, like you can just discard that 4 cost 2/2, or the 4/4 for 2. This card's good. This card's very good in this card deck. It's also just good in general. Later in the game, like just drawing one of these late in the game, you can just play it and just in a turn discard 3 cards, just like basically draw 3. They are random cards, but it even works with shards. So this card is actually legit. Immaculate Mortis, 6 cost 4/4, life drain, speed, crush, steadfast. Deploy. A random trooper in your hand gets +4/+4 and all these abilities. This one is good. This card is very good. Especially if you can rebuy it. Like a 6 cost 4/4 life drain, speed, crush is fine. It's good. It's good. But the fact that it does this too, it gives it another troop, is actually pretty absurd. I like this card a lot. I think it's powerful, and you can just being able to loop them. If you can find a way to loop them, then you're definitely working with something, because these cards buy you time. The first one gains you at least 4 life, or dies, I guess, and the next one gains you the next card gains you at least like 5. Because if this ability goes on a 1/1, it says life drain. It buys you more time. So if you can find a way to like play more of these and like maybe Call the Grave or Ghastly Exchange or Tomb Swap, whatever you you can really start building like an army of these and get out of hand. Iron Maiden, 4 cost, 4/5, triple threshold. When this attacks, pay X health. Each opposing champion discards each non-resource cards with the chosen cost. So if you pay 3 health, you don't see their hand, but if they have like any 3 drops or 3 cost cards, they'll discard them. If you pay 1, if they have any 1 cost cards, they discard them. If you pay 0, if they have like Treacherous Pass, I guess, they discard it. This card is not good enough. One is too slow. If it had speed, then yes. I do not think it's good enough at what it is. Like, just compare it to something like Boglin the Mad Marsh, where if you untap with it, you win. Or or even like this card you have to untap with. You have to attack. You have to guess right, unless you have Withering Gaze, and then you also lose life in the process. It's not good enough. It's not good enough for me. I don't think it's good enough for. I don't think it's good enough for Constructed. Again, there's think of cards that like when you untap, you basically win. Like Fenteo, the Brood Priest. Fenteo, the Brood Priest cost 1 less, not the triple threshold, and basically if you untap with Fenteo, you basically won. Like, let's be honest. Like you basically won almost a 1 activation. If you did it twice, the game's probably over. This card is just too much, and I don't think it's good enough for what you're trying to do. If you get this card, just sell it. I'll sell it. Jaxx Maxx, 5 cost, 6/4. Feral. Feral means when it attacks, has to be blocked by 2 more troops. Rabid. The first time it attacks, summon 2 attacking Rabid Gnolls. That's the 1/1s. When a Gnoll you control deals damage to an opposing champion, revert it. Hey, this card's sweet because it reverts itself. So if it connects, it attacks for 8. And if it connects, it reverts itself. And it reverts all other Rabid Gnolls when they connect. This is a great way to revert your Gnolls without losing troops. Like instead of having a spell that you have to cast and risk getting Hero Fall or Strangled, you don't have to do that anymore. Like, you can just play this guy, and you can reset your Gnolls if you want. I think he's fine. I don't think he's like insane or anything, but I think he's fine. He's also a troop. He's like, this is the best way I've seen to revert your Rabid cards, because it doesn't stop the aggression. Jenson the Joymaker. He's a 2/2 mana 2/2. Rowdy. He summons a Moppet. A Moppet is a 0/0. When it comes into play, it gets a random boon like Flight, Life Drain, Steadfast, Crush, and he gives all Moppets you control +3/+3. I think this card's good. I think it's good. Thankfully, you can't like stack it. You can't play multiples, because if this was not unique, it'd be pretty insane. But he basically like you've played on turn 2. It's a 2/2. On turn 3, it's basically like 5 power, because you play a 3-drop. He makes a 3/3 with a boon, and then after that, it's just absurd. This card's good. This card is very good. I like this card. It only costs 2. This card's great. Jolt Jabber, 3 cost, 3/3, Steadfast Swift Strike, Rabid. Destroy target opposing artifact or constant. I don't think this one's good enough. If you want to play something like this, play the Falling Fangs, the one with 4/2 speed and flying, and they do the same thing. It's random, but it costs 2 and it's a 4/2, and it can be blocked basically. Jouncing Carnage, 3 cost, destroy target artifact or troop. This is good. It's not Hero Fall worthy, but if we get a format where like artifacts matter, then sure. It's also easier to cast than Hero Fall if you're playing 3 shards, so that's good. But if you're playing 2 shards and you want this kind of effect, you might play Hero Fall, just because Hero Fall is such an absurdly powerful card. It can literally undo decks by itself. And right now, the most important troops, Hero Fall kills anyways, like MC, Animus, Darkheart. They're all artifacts, but they all get destroyed by destroy target troop. So This card's good. It's better if you're playing more than one shard, or playing like 3 shards or so, because it's easier to cast. But if you're playing like 2 shards, I'd probably go with Hero Fall if you could. Leaf Clobbler, 4 cost, quick action. 2 target troops, you can target +2/+2. This is only limited. And deal 3 damage. Target opposing troop. Stun target opposing troop. Like, it can, I don't know, like, maybe it can buy you time to kill a troop and stun a troop. I don't think so. Like, I think Power Strike is better. Like, Power Strike is better. Like, I like the Decree of Banishing. I don't think this card's good enough for constructed. Lilygrove Shambler, 5 cost, 3/5. Okay, Life Drain. I love Life Drain. At the start of your turn, sacrifice another troop. Okay, when you sacrifice a troop, troops you control get +1/+1. Is that all it says? Is there more? There's more text. I can't see it. I imagine, I'm going to assume this is +1/+1 permanently. It's not like on the turn. And if that's the case, this card seems pretty good, because if you're playing the Regal Caracal, maybe you can like do some sort of rebirth shenanigans where you keep growing your troops over and over again. Maybe you're playing Deathcry and you're splashing Diamond for this type of card. It's playable. Life Drain is nice, but again, this really depends if the format is slow. If the format is slow, then these type of effects are okay. But if it's like combo-y or people doing crazy stuff, these cards are unplayable. You can't play like this card. You can't play the one that Drunken Hooligan, or card that like in a turn trigger a Deathcry you control. Those cards are all powerful, but if the format isn't slow enough, you can't play it. And honestly, I believe Massacre just kills this type of deck. This type of deck wants to go wide, like kill a troop, grow bigger, and Massacre just kills it. So honestly, no, this card probably isn't playable because of Massacre and just Clash of Steel and Annihilate. There's a lot of cards just to stop this from going wide. Lilygrove Warden, 3 cost, 2/3. When non-phantom troop you control dies, summon a phantom. I like this card as anti-board wipe. This one actually stops Massacre. It's also good because this is the best one I've seen that like does this effect. Like when it dies, it comes back. Because 1, it makes a 1/1 flyer, which is huge. 2, it's not rebirth, so like Massacre doesn't stop it, Strangle doesn't stop it. 3, this card isn't unique. If you have 2 of them out, each troop will make 2 spirits. If you have 3, it makes 3 spirits or phantoms. It also triggers on itself. So like if you have if it dies by itself, at least you get a 1/1 phantom. This card is the best card of this effect that I've seen. Is it good enough to make its own deck? I don't know, but I know it's if you're in these shards, it's a great card to have for like anti-mass destruction. It does proc on itself. It says when non-phantom troop you control dies. This is not a phantom, so yes. Lox Weapon Pit. 2 cost, constant, basic, on your turn. Revert target troop you control. It gets +1/+1. This is for Rabid, limited only. I don't think it's good for constructed. For constructed, you'd rather play Mad Dog in anyways. Lurking Rotjaw, 3 cost, 3/1, rebirth. Deathcry, target opposing troop is -1/-1. This is like Monsagi Deadeye, but it's a 3/1 with rebirth. Is it better than Blightbark Paladin? No. I think Blightbark Paladin is better because of Deathcry. Yeah. This card can be used with Blightbark Paladin, and I believe Blightbark Paladin is a lot better than this one is. Malevolence, 5 cost. Basic action. Each opposing champion may discard any number of cards. Then the champion loses 4 health for each card in their hand. This card's not good. You're giving your opponent the choice to lose how much life they want, keep how many cards they want. Like if they're at 0, or if they're at like a low health, they'll discard their hand. On top of that, you have to be ahead to play this. Like if your opponent has Dark Caravan Cannoncer, they don't care about the cards in their hand. Like it doesn't matter. They have the board. This card is not good. Don't play this card. Play something else. Play Demented Whispers. Play Primordial Cockatrice. Play something else. This Iron Maiden. This Iron Maiden is basically Scion of Levant. Because when the dragon died, she became the Iron Maiden, and she is so much worse. Girl, go back. Go back. Bring sexy back. You are not sexy right now. Go back. Transform up to 2 target cards into ice blocks. Ice blocks are great. They are... Well, let me show you. This is an ice block. Makes 2 cards. 2 card constant. Revert this. So this can buy you a lot of time. I don't think this is good enough. The 2 mana one is better, I think. There's a blue one that just does it to any card. Makes it ice block. That's good enough. That's enough time. That's enough time for you. And it's 2 mana, so it stops like Vampire Prince and things that are relevant early on. It also buys enough time to cast like Clash of Steel or Annihilate or Dark Caravan Cannoncer. This one's a little too slow. 4, I understand 4, you freeze 2 things, but that Vampire Prince already hit you. That MC has already hit you, so it's a little too slow. So you're not playing this card. Master's Tutelage. Quick action. Put target tribute control into your hand. It gets +2/+2 and costs +2. Cool trick in limited. As far as constructed, no. If you want this type of effect, you just play Gargolith, or basically just Gargolith, or Runebind, I guess. But this card is not good enough for constructed. 6/2 Deathcry. Bury the top 4 cards of your deck, then reveal a random card from your crypt and put it into your hand. I think self-mill is very important. I think we need more cards that self-mill. It sucks. This one costs 4. I wish it was like 2 mana. It was a 3/2 instead, or something else. The fact that it's 4 and a 6/2 just makes it too much. Like, I want to be able to play Malevolent Migo or cards, or even Robogoyle, because Robogoyle triggers off this. So like if this would die and you had like a Robogoyle on top of your deck, it'd come into play. But it costs 4, and that sucks. It's just too much. It's too much. It's good with Lord Blightbark. I think you have better stuff to do for 4 with Lord Blightbark. If you have Lord Blightbark, there's much better Deathcry cards that cost 4 to do it with. I do wish we had better self-mill cards though. Like Ghastly Exchange is like the best one we have, I think. Moonsong. This is like very reminiscent of Wintermoon. Put up to 4 target cards from your crypt into your deck. They get, when you play this, draw a card. If you can somehow manage to play this with the Fractured Faith and just like have 0 mana fogs, just fog your opponent out and draw a card, it's pretty cool. It's also cool that this card, you can also like rebuy itself, because you can Moonsong your own Moonsong and basically just like keep going. Wintermoon was sweet. I'm sure this spell is also also very fun and pretty cool. So, also if you're playing like if you're playing Sapphire, Ruby, if you're playing like Ruby, Wild, Sapphire, you can buy back some Scorches. Ooh, Scorch. It's kind of cool. Fun card. Usually combo oriented of some sort. So this would be a good way to maybe like with Rowdy Piper or Dreamsmoke Diva to like kind of like keep going and do some crazy stuff. Moss Geyser. 5 cost, 3/3. Deploy, revert, 3 target cards. This is quick. There's a white one that's an angel that costs 4, reverts a number of cards. The fact this is quick may be playable in reserves, probably not though. Reserves versus Candles. No, that card does not buy back part. Rise of the Heart. Eyes of the Heart is Void itself. Angel's not quick. Yeah, sure. This is probably a fine card to play against Candles. So is there's another card too. Like Pip Hustler is usually good enough too. This card is fine. As a reserves card, not great. It's okay. It's playable. But you have to be wanting to revert more than 3 cards. Because if you're wanting to revert 1 card, Ruined Bind is good enough. So this card is like niche, but if Candles big things, yeah, it's good against Candles. Moss Scarab. Yeah, Blinding Light did get reprinted. So that's sweet. You're right. Blinding Light did get reprinted, so you can do some fun stuff with that. Moss Scarab. 2 cost, 2/2. Deploy. Target troop gets +1/+1. No. Leprechaun's better. I know it's Prismatic, but so is Leprechaun. Nefarious Gift. Cool art. 2 cost. Create 2 Signs of Suffering for each opposing champion. Put them into their decks. Draw a card. Let's look at Signs of Suffering. Signs of Suffering. When you draw this, reveal it, then discard your hand. Then draw a card for each card discard this way. Maybe if you're trying to like play that one constant where when your opponent discards a card, they take 3 damage, and you're trying to like do stuff with discard stuff. I think this is like the Sun Auctioneer. This is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I don't know if it's worth it. I personally don't think it's worth it. But maybe we'll next set. But I don't think it's good enough. It's fun. Like I'm sure I'll try this out, but I don't think it's gonna be good enough. Noxious Turn. Quick action. Target trooper you control gets +4 and life drain and swift strike this turn. This card is powerful, limited. I do not think it's good enough in constructed, unless you're wanting it out of reserves for aggressive decks. Maybe to like gain 4 life against the Mono Ruby deck or the Ruby Sapphire deck. Maybe you just want to gain some life, a little bit of life, maybe trade in combat. This is probably a good way to gain life in these shards. So maybe in reserves, but I don't think so. But this is where I would see play if I saw play. Oinkers, the Party Pig. Sweet name, sweet art. Avatar of Debauchery. At the end of your turn, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, play a revealed card for free, put the main cards into your deck. So basically you get to change course, look at the top 3 cards, and this is how you know if you are a good Hex player or a bad Hex player. Because in the top 3 of your cards, if you see all 3 shards, you're not a pro player, you're a bad Hex player. Like, why are you playing the game? Now if you reveal Psychic Ascension, Gargolith, and Mastery of Time, now you are a pro Hex player. This is how to be a pro. So, in case you guys are wondering, I think this card's fun. I think it's also a kind of cool card to reanimate. If you play this card, you really want to play cards like Gargolith to protect it, and cards like Eyes of the Heart to basically rebuy his ability and swing for 10. So. This card's fun. This card's sweet. I think it's powerful. And I think it's actually a legit reanimation target. It competes with Doombringer Kha, which is kind of annoying, but these colors luckily ramp. So if you want, you could literally just play Wild Diamond and splash some Sapphire, because this set lets you splash colors. You could actually just cast this guy. So there's that. One-hit Wounder. 3 cost, 2/2 Rabid. This gets +4/+4 and crush this turn. That is definitely a 1-hit Wounder. He's swinging for 6/6 crush. Needs speed, man. Needs speed. I don't think it's good enough. I think we have better troops for the Gnolls. We'll get to them later. The Zomboys. Oppress the Unworthy. Target troop control gets +3 attack. Target opposing troop gets -3 attack. Sure. Oh, it's basic. Never mind. It's basic. Holy crap. No, this card's bad. Don't play this card. Thought it was quick. And quick is passable, but basic, no, I don't think so. Pack Plower. 6 cost, 6/6. Feral. Again, Feral has to be blocked by 2 more troops. Deploy. Another target troop you control gets +3/+3 and Feral this turn. Limited only. cool limited, but that's about it. Pain Stoke Sister. 4 cost 3/4. When you discard a card, it deals 1 damage to target opposing champion or troop. This is another way to... another combo with Psychic Ascension. You can play Psychic Ascension, play this, in return discard your million cards and just play your opponent. Okay, I mean there's also the auction guy that works with absolute power. I don't think this card's good outside of like combo or something. So Peregrine Shade, 6 mana, 3/3, flight, rebirth, deploy. Target opposing troop can't attack or block this turn. You can't attack or block until the start of your next turn. Limited only. Pristine Obliteron, 5 cost, 3/3, deploy. A random troop in your hand gets plus attack and defense equal to this troop's attack and defense. Limited only. If you're playing this, play the Immaculus. It's much better. Radical Rock Surfer, 4 cost, 4/4, crush, rabid, summon attacking Boulder Brute. I don't know what a Boulder Brute is. Boulder Brute. Boulder Brute. Please pull up. Boulder Brute is a 4/4 with a socketable miner. Huh. It's a 5 cost 4/4 with a random socket, with a random miner socket. So that's basically 8 power. That's actually pretty good. I mean, if you play this, it's a 4/4, has crush, and if you attack, you get 8 power with the troops. I like this. I can get behind this. This card is 8 power and at least 8 toughness across 1 card. So this card's powerful. I like it. Okay, here we go. Rakanazoth the Starved. 6 cost, 7/7. Flight. If you would draw a card, put a random card from your crypt into your hand instead. If a card enter your crypt, void it instead. So if you have no cards in your crypt, you basically can't draw any more cards. So if someone like Gravebane vials you, or you run out of cards in your crypt, you just can't draw any more cards. I don't know. This card does not seem good. Like, I understand 6 mana 7/7, but just play I don't know, play Rylanth or play something else. Not this card. I would not play this card. Ruckus Revelry. This card is sweet with Rowdy Piper and Dreamsmoke Diva, and just resetting your Rowdy cards to 1, untapping all your resources, drawing a bunch of cards, just going crazy, and taking like 10 minutes to play 1 turn. Your opponent's like, please stop. You're like, you're like now that's how you party. Your opponent's asleep, but you're partying, so that's all that mattered. This card is sweet. I'm excited to play this card and do some silly things. So, Refuel. Put 2 target troops in your crypt with cost 3 or less into play. They get speed this turn. At the end of turn, sacrifice those troops. This card is great. This card is great with all those troops that you wish had speed, that didn't have speed. There's a lot of gnolls that have very powerful rabid abilities that want speed, but don't have it. Even the cards do not have rabid. This is still a great way to deal those last extra few points of damage. Refuel is a powerful card for this archetype. This card's good. I want to refuel Underworld Crusaders. That's gross. Don't do that. That's mean. No, that's actually sweet. Or even refueling Ardent Crusaders. Make 4 spirits. That's good too. Sweet. This card's good. Resplendent Annihilix. 6 cost, flight. When this deals damage to an opposing champion, play up to 1 prismatic card in your hand for free. I mean, if you're connecting with a 6/6 flying troop, do you really need to play more spells? Like, I don't think this card's good enough personally. It's a sweet card, but If Eternal Invoker barely saw any play, this card is going to see less play. You like this? I think it's cool, but I don't think it's actually good. Resplendence. 0 cost constant. Rowdy. Gain health equal to this card's cost. I don't think you need this. There's that Healthy Tip. Healthy Tip lets you get 2 coins and gain 5 health, which is better. I think it's better than this card. I don't think this card is good. Rock Climber. 7 cost 5/4. Flight. Rabid. Destroy target opposing troop. Good limited. Not constructed. 1/3. Flight. A random troop you control gets +1/+1. Rowdy. Limited. That's every turn. Discard a random card and draw a card. This is most likely limited, but if there's a discard deck that really wants this, then maybe. But I think the Ironoclasm is the better one to play than this, so I say no to this card. Scouring Ruinant. Deploy. Troops in your hand get +1 attack. This is great in limited and also pretty good in constructed. A 2-mana 3/1 that gives the rest of your troops in your hand +1 attack is actually playable. It's also the prismatic thing that lets you play those sweet prismatic, the minor prismatic shards, like give it flight or rage or crush or whatever. So I think it's actually playable in a diamond sapphire aggressive deck. The only problem is though it competes with sockets. So is it better than sockets? I don't know. It's tough, but we'll see. Scribe of the Flayed Man, the most hyped card in the set. 3 cost 2/3. If you control a Ruby and Sapphire Threshold, when you discard this, you can pay 3 if you do play for free. Then it gives that ability to the rest of your cards. There are people that think this card is insane. Others that think it's like not good enough because it just dies. It's a 3-mana 2/3. But this card is good. The reason it's good is because you can wait till turn 6. You can wait till turn 6 if you want. You can play this. And then you can like use Blue Sparrow's power to draw a card and discard your Psychic Ascension. You can discard your Gargolith, discard your whatever absurd spell you want to play. And also, you don't have to play like just absurd bombs. Like you can just play this card. You can play average cards that they can cheat into play with Scribe of the Flayed Man. And then just play like good cards, maybe like 2 bombs. Like 2 bombs that if you have, that if you draw randomly, you just win the game. You don't need to go crazy with this card. You can. There's plenty of ways to build on this card. I do think it's a good card. How good? I think time will tell. I don't think it's as good as Bride the Damned. I think Bride the Damned is a lot better than this card, but this card is definitely good. Servant of Suffering. Once per turn, when a champion discards a card, this gets +3/+3 and fight this turn. Limited. Shadow Rat, Life Drain. When an opposing champion plays an action, this deals 1 damage to that champion. This is limited, not constructed worthy. Shadow Serpent. When an opposing champion plays an action, this gets 3. This card is good. It's a 3/2. It's very hard to kill. Like, it's very hard to kill with removal. Like, if you try to strangle it, it dies forever. But if you just try to like Hero Fall it or something, it's gonna be hard to kill. Okay, I'm just back. This card's playable. It's not very good. Strangle is one hell of a card. Yeah, this card's fine. It's fine. It's not as insane as I thought it was. Because of Strangle. Alright. Shard of Gloom, 3 cost, 2/3, flight. Little damage to an opposing champion. Choose action, artifact, constant, or troop. That champion discards a card of the chosen type. This is basically like a worse Vampire Princess. I think it's too slow, but in the right metagame, in a slow one, it could see play. Maybe like in a control deck where you just play this and try to go, try to hit them and name stuff. But overall, I think it's a worse Vampire Princess. But that being said, in the right metagame, this definitely could see play in the sideboard or even main deck, depending on how slow the format is. It's Chaos Touch. It is Chaos Touch, so it does work with lead Librarian. If you play the Librarian, it can become unblockable with the Curator. It's okay. Sin in the Deep. This is sweet art. This is only limited. Surprise. This card is broken. Best card in the set. It's already banned and constructed. It's banned and constructed because it's bugged. So I'm just joking. It's not the best card in the set. This card is kind of cool though. It's Brown Fox Scout, but just huge, with Spell Shield too. This is great against Blood. Like, man, you can just play this at instant speed. It has Spell Shield, so it can't be just freaking removed by Hero Fall and stuff. And you can play on top of your deck. So if your opponent just like destroys your hand, you can still get lucky and play on top of your deck. I like this card. It's sweet. It's a sweet card. You'll see play. It's just an overall good card. Call him Brown Fat Scout. I like that. Brown Fat Scout. Soaring Catalyst. 2 cost, 2/3 flying. When this deals damage to an opposing champion, or any troop in your hand gets +1/+1 in flight. Man, I like this card. This card seems sweet. 2/2 flight and attacks. This card seems great. I bet you there's going to be a Diamond Ruby hand buff creature troop deck because there's a champion that does this. There's multiple cards that do this. So this is sweet. I like this. Soul Severance. This card's obnoxious in reserves. Opposing troops get -1/-1 this turn. Each time an opposing troop dies this turn, summon a phantom. This card is so good. In your reserves. Main deck, it's not that good, obviously, but it's a very powerful reserves card to like wipe up X1s and then give yourself an army. This card's great. Soul Shatter. 5 cost. Destroy target troop. That troop's controller loses 2 health and gains 2 life. You lose. Not playable and constructed. Spell Bauble Gobblers. 3 cost, 2/2. When this deals damage to a champion, create 2 random actions they can cast, and at the end of turn, you have to discard those cards. So basically, this is like Runic Passion on a creature, but you don't draw the card, you just create the cards. I don't know. The reason, like, if Rune Carver or Sky Carver dwarf guy, when he attacks, he transforms a card in your crypt into a rune. He saw no play. Maybe Sapphire Diamond, Sapphire Ruby gets better, but I don't know. This card isn't very aggressive. Maybe. I just feel like Ruby Sapphire control decks have been not good enough. This card will not make good enough. It needs better cards than this, so we'll see. I personally don't think so. I don't think this card is good enough. Like when you're competing with Scribe with a Flayed Man and like removal and counter magic and Bounty the Magus and Heart's Whisper, I don't think it's good enough. So Startling Vine Toad. Limited. Say the Scales. Limited only. Stir the Dead. When a troop leaves your crypt, it gets +1/+1. Limited. Sucker Punch. Target troop gets +2/+2 and fight this turn. Limited only. Gets basic action. Sweet art though. It's like just killing them with the freaking lollipop. Sudden Descent. Deal 4 damage. Target exhausts a troop. It is quick, but I also feel like this is limited. There's better removal spells in these colors. Sugar Rush. This card is sweet. This card is really good because we have Song of the Sun, which is a 3-cost action that replenishes resources. The problem with cards like that is they replenish your resources, but they don't give you fuel. Sugar Rush does. It draws you cards, then replenishes your resources. Also, if you're playing like a card like Eye of Winter, you will draw cards, get a bunch of 0/1 thresholds, then replenish all those thresholds. This card is awesome, powerful, great. I'll play it You'll see it played. Sweet card. Sugar Puss. 2 cost. 1/1. Rowdy, create 3 random dandy candies and put them into your deck. What are dandy candies? Let's find out. Boonberry Punch. Gain X health. Summon a random. Wait, what did he say? 3 random, so it can be any combination. Okay, so gain X health. Summon a Fae that costs. If you're playing with 3 or less, this is fine because you can just play it for 0 if you want and get a 3 drop or just a creature. This card's good. Good candy. Dementia Bar. Bury the top X cards of each opposing champion's deck. Summon a random Chaos Touched or Fae. This one's good too. Create X random actions you meet the threshold to play. Put your crypt into your deck. Okay. This card's also very good. This is a Dream Call. A Dream Call without any restriction. And the last one is a Poppy Pop. Create X random troops you meet the threshold requirements to play and put them into your hand. Gain 0/1. This card's also very good too. They're all really good. They're all really good. So, alright. It's time to make a Sugar Puss deck with Sugar Puss and Moonsong. Just keep recycling them. We should do that. I think this card is pretty good. Drawing the candies is gonna be kind of hard because like think of like Swamp Butt. Swamp Butt makes Scorches. There's times where your opponent makes 9 Scorches and never draws them. Not Scorches, the one that Swamp Gas makes 9 Swamp Gases and just never draws them, and it's like, why am I playing this champion? So, but these cards are so good. These cards are so much better than Swamp Gas. I like him. I think he's playable, but I mean, I like Sapphire Wild cards and silly cards, so like, I'm a little biased here. What's up, Biz? Supremacy. Basic action. Troops you control. Troops you control in your hand get +1/+1. This is very interesting. Obviously, you can't play too many of these effects because you need to have enough troops. I think it's good and limited. As far as constructed, maybe, probably not. You probably want to play troops that do this instead. So you probably don't play this because like you really don't want to take in an aggressive deck. You don't want to take your turn 2 play to just play this. Like you want to play this like turn 5 or something. You don't want to play turn 2 because you do nothing to the board. So I don't think it's good enough for constructed. Tenebrous Vrax. 3 cost, 1/2 flight. When a champion discards a card, this gets +1. Limited only. The Pleasure Tent. I'm gonna extend the art. I'm gonna extend the art on this card. I can see what's going on. All right. There's the diva kissing somebody. Okay. There's a hookah there. As far as how good this card is, it summons a random troop with power and toughness 1/1. This is so random. It could be insane. It could be insane. It could be awful. Like I don't know. It's too random. It's too random to be playable. If you want this effect, play the Mirror Caravan. But it's a very fun card. But not good enough. Please do another site review. Please say you're doing another site review. I'm doing it now. I'm doing the site review now. All right. Jubilant Joust is in there. Torch Runner. 3 cost, 3/1. Rabid. Deal 3 damage to each opposing champion. No, I don't think it's good enough. If it was 2, if it cost 2, then yes. But no. Totem of Voidstar. 2 cost, 2/2. It says that when this deals damage to a champion, put a target card, discard this turn from your crypt into your hand. You can pay 1 to give it flight and lethal. This is medium. It's okay. It's not even that good, honestly. It's not that good because like compared to Vampire Prince. Vampire Prince, you just play it and it does its thing. It gains you life. It draws you shards. It mana screws. It shard screws your opponent every time. You just win. Usually. I don't think this card is good enough. It's cool, but ultimately, I wouldn't play this card. Undying Vow. 2 cost. Target treatment gets +2 in Rebirth. Limited. Violent Breach. Deal 2 damage to each opposing champion and troop. Troops you hang up. This one's good. This is much better than Supremacy. Being able to basically maybe board wipe your opponent or do a bunch of damage to your opponent, then giving all your troops in your hand +2/+2, not +1/+1. This is playable. Maybe more so in the reserves of this deck, but it's very playable. I like this card. Violet's Handmaiden. 4 cost 2/1. Rebirth, summon, deploy Phantom. So it comes into play. It's a 3/2 for power. When it dies, 3/2. So it's a 4/3. Limited. I think it's great limited, but not in constructed. Voice of Deandra. Excellent art. Beautiful art. Also awesome card. It's a 4 cost. It's a 5/5 flying. At the start of your turn, you draw a card, and this gets -2/-2. Then you can discard a card, and this gets +1/+1. So this fuels reanimation. It fuels discard strategies. It's excellent. Like if you have the scribe of the flayed man, if like you can literally discard a resource, pay 3 to play that resource with the scribe, so that you basically accelerate in a deck that should be able to accelerate its mana. Then you draw a card. You draw a card because of voice, because you just discard a card, draw a card. Oh, sorry, you don't draw a card. You don't draw a card, but you give it +1/+1. So basically, discard a card, give it +1/+1, and play the resource with the Scribe the Flayed Man. Then later, you can draw a card with her other ability. I think she's good. I like her. 4-mana 5/5 flyer is solid. If they kill it, whatever. If they don't kill it, it's just gonna draw your cards. And these abilities you pay nothing for. This is the best part. You don't pay any mana for this. It just happens. Everything just happens. Not sure you can play extra resources after your first, even with tricks. You can. Like, if Oinko's the party pig finds a resource, you'll be able to play for free. I'm pretty sure you can. Whack-a-Gnoll. 3 cost, quick action. Target troop gets +5/+3 and crush this turn. I think it's limited only. Unless you want to put this on your Surging Wildfire and go. But even still, this type of effect is super risky because we have too much removal. Like we have too much removal in constructed. Strangle, again, Hero Fall. Now we have some diamond removal too. It's just too risky for constructed. Whip Crack. Deal 1 damage to each opposing champion and troop. Draw a card, and 2 discard a card. This card is playable in reserves as a way to deal with candles or dreadlings or whatever. Think of it like Crackling Magma. But as far as main deck, it's not good enough. World Scar. Constant. Unique. When you play a troop, summon a copy of it. This is the Shenanigan card. I don't think it's good enough because 6 mana literally does nothing when it comes in play. But I'm sure you can do some silly things with this card. You can, yeah. If you play this card, make sure you play in a combo, or that if you untap this, you win. Otherwise, don't play this card. It's not good enough by itself. It's just too much work, but it is a fun card. Unless I'm missing some sort of crazy combo. This plus Agilius. It's a lot of. Maybe if you're playing like Wild Diamond Sapphire, you play World Scar then Agilius, or World Scar then Gargalith. Maybe in some sort of ramp deck. Or you frost form Agilius. There's the Massacre, but yeah. There's Massacre that just destroys you, but sure. I mean, again, I think it's okay. It's okay. Like, Agility's by himself is good. You don't really need more usually. Zomberserk, 4 cost. Target trip gets +2/+2 in Rebirth. Limited. Zomboys. This card is great. I don't even play aggressive decks, but this card is sweet. So it's 2 cost, 3/2, which is good. Has Rabid. So when it attacks, put target troop with cost 3 or less from your crypt into play, attacking under your control. It gets an turn sacrifice this. It's not a Gnoll. This is any troop. So you can like put like an Underworld Crusader. You can put any sweet Deathcry troop, whatever you want. Like you can put a Blightbark Paladin, or just another Gnoll with Rabid. You can put whatever you want. Whatever 3 cost plus less troop you want. This card's sweet. This is a very powerful card for the Blood Ruby aggro deck. If there is one, Zomboys is your boy. Okay, guys, that is it for the Prismatic shards. So that covers that. So thank you for watching. If you liked the video, make sure you subscribe, like, follow, whatever you do on YouTube. Thanks for watching, and have a good day, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye-bye.